Welcome to the second part of our family recollection. And in this particular section, we are invited to reflect upon the importance of maintaining our family relationships. Because of this situation, we need to become aware of certain challenges that we need to face, especially in dealing with one another. It is inevitable that some of us are probably experiencing some mood swings. Suddenly, why is it that your parents are becoming more grumpy? And of course, the children, probably this is your first time that you observe them behave, in a school setting, and sometimes it can be very frustrating. So mood swings are inevitable, and because of some experiences of impatience, and frustrations, irritability would be there, and that is why some of us would have sudden outbursts. Normal human reaction to certain situations, but sometimes we need to be mindful of them. And we need to be aware of how these things can actually strain or create a crack or even create tension within the family. And that is why, my dear brothers and sisters, in the next slides, I invite you to rediscover 3 very important skills in order for us to develop or maintain our family relationships. The first thing that each of us must learn is to say the words, thank you. Very interesting. This word thank you contains only 2 words, but sometimes we fail to say them to people who matter so much in our lives. Remember, my dear brothers and sisters, that when we say thank you, we are grateful for all the good things that we receive from other people. And when we speak of these good things, we are not only talking about material things, but we are all the more focusing on the goodness of a person. And to appreciate that goodness is a very important aspect of maintaining our relationships with them. Because remember the beautiful experience when other people thank us. It warms our heart. It tells us that probably we did something good. And it feels good to do good, especially when that goodness was appreciated by the other person. In the same way as we feel good because we were thanked by the other person, learn also how to make other people feel good as we learn how to acknowledge them by thanking them, by learning how to say the words thank you, or even just the shortened version of it, thanks. Because when we say thank you to that person, we are actually recognizing that that person is a channel of God's blessings. We recognize that through that person, we have been blessed by God. And remember that as we recall these blessings in life, we need to acknowledge these blessings, appreciate them. And when we say thank you to those people who have become channels of these blessings, we also acknowledge the goodness of God in our lives. This is a very cute cartoon strip. Of course, most probably the parents are very much aware of these comics characters, Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. Piglet noticed that even though he had a very small heart, it could hold a rather large amount of gratitude. Because, my dear brothers and sisters, remember that a grateful heart is a heart that remembers. Please do not be ungrateful. Please remember how blessed we are because of the people around us, especially family members who continue to do good things for us. Sometimes we need to admit the reality that it is actually our fault when we become insensitive of these good things. Sometimes we are so blind of the efforts that other people exert for us. Sometimes we fail to realize that people go such lengths in order for us to receive things that in reality we do not actually deserve. And yet these people gave them to us. And that is why it is crucial, it is actually imperative to learn how to appreciate them by saying thank you. And of course, another challenge that we need to face is to learn how to say, I am sorry. This word that you are seeing is probably a strange thing for you, but actually, this is the Polish word for sorry. I myself could not pronounce it, but I remember 2 years ago when I visited Poland because of a pilgrimage, there was this bench near the place where Pope John Paul II stayed as an Archbishop of Poland, and that bench became a symbol of mercy for the people of Poland. And in that bench, words were written, different translations of the word sorry, to signify that if there is one thing that every person must learn, it is how to say sorry. And one of those words, I got curious and realized that it was the Polish word for sorry. I do not know how to pronounce it because it is very difficult to pronounce, leading us into the reality that one of the very difficult statements to say is actually this statement, I am sorry. But then again, if we really value our relationships, we must learn how to say this very difficult statement. But just a few reminders, especially when apologizing. First of all, when we apologize, be sincere. Because sometimes we have this attitude, oh, okay, I will say sorry just for the issue to be finished. Okay, I will say sorry just for the conflict to end. But my dear brothers and sisters, we say sorry. Why? Because we value our relationship with that person. We say sorry because that person is important. We say sorry because we love that person. And of course, sometimes saying sorry could hurt our ego. But remember that when we say sorry, we acknowledge that that person is more important than our ego. Second aspect of apologizing, please be more sensitive. Be more sensitive of the feelings of other people. And to apologize to them requires a great sense of sensitivity. And that very beautiful quality of being sensitive is also necessary so that, again, we may not repeat that offense over and over again. Sometimes we are like this. We punched someone. and then we say sorry afterwards, and then punch that person again, and then we say sorry afterwards, and then we punch that person again, and then we say sorry afterwards. We continue to hurt other people, and it's okay. Anyway, we say sorry afterwards. That is not an authentic way of saying sorry. Because when we say sorry, there is this unspoken condition and promise that we will never ever commit that same offense again. And that is why in saying sorry, we need to remember this third aspect. When we say sorry, we need to make amends. We need to make a promise that we will do better. Because people who love other people do not hurt them. You cannot say that you love someone and then do things that could hurt them. Loving people would always seek the happiness of their beloved. Loving people would always try their best to do good things towards the persons whom they love. And that is why, my dear brothers and sisters, the third thing that we need to learn in order for us to maintain our relationships is the statement, I love you. To learn how to say the words, I love you. For the couples who are watching right now, when was the last time that you said, I love you to your spouse? As parents, when was the last time that you said the words, I love you to your children? Though, my dear brothers and sisters, it is true that actions speak louder than words. But sometimes it is also good to hear the words, I love you, from those people whom we love, and from those people whom we expect to love us. It is also very beautiful if these words are shown in actions. Remember that when we speak of love, we can actually express it in three things. First of all, love can be expressed in charity. What is charity? Charity is when love motivates us to do good for our beloved. Meaning, as couples, for example, charity is when you offer to do things for your beloved. Charity is when you try your best to help one another. Charity is being kinder to each other. Charity is being more patient, more understanding to each other. These are good deeds. And of course, in a more concrete action, charity is when you volunteer to wash the dishes. Charity is when you volunteer to cook food. Charity is when you try your best to cooperate. Remember, my dear brothers and sisters, that as children of God, created with natural goodness, charity should be natural in us. It should be innate. It is something that we need to practice constantly. The second expression of love is what we call compassion. And when we speak of compassion, this is the kind of love that motivates us to share in the suffering of other people. And probably as your family continues to face the challenges in your life, the mere fact that you choose to stay together, the mere fact that you choose to cooperate with one another, these are already manifestations that you are actually practicing compassion. It is when you choose not to run from your responsibilities. It is when you decide that, okay, for better or for worse, in sickness or in health, I will not only stay with my wife or husband, but I will stay with my family. Compassion is when we say yes to suffering. Not that we are looking for it, but we are slowly learning how to accept this particular reality of our human existence and deal with it as a family. If my family member is suffering, I should also be willing to suffer with that family member. And of course, try our best to get out of that suffering. And of course, lastly, the third and the most beautiful expression of love, mercy. Mercy is that love that motivates us to forgive. Not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but countless of times. Defeat the beverage offerings in restaurants. Be forgiving bottomlessly. And defeat also the telco promos. Be forgiving in an unlimited sense. Because, my dear brothers and sisters, authentic love knows how to forgive. But of course, in order for us to avoid the very difficult process of forgiveness, of course, let us try our best not to hurt one another. But under circumstances wherein we are being asked to practice more love through the practice of mercy, please do not refuse to do so. Because again, we need to realize that persons are important. Your family members are important. Children, without your parents, you will not exist. Parents, without your children, you will not discover the beauty of parenthood. Though it is true that it's very difficult to deal with the quirks, with the difficult personalities of one another. But there is beauty in that. It is each other's uniqueness that makes your family unique and makes each one of us or each one of you lovable. And that is why it is very important that you should be always ready to express your love for one another, whether in words or in actions. And of course, my dear brothers and sisters, do not forget that when we speak of our relationships, they are not only present with the people whom we interact with, and we are not only invited to maintain our relationship with one another. Let us also try to maintain our relationship with God. And in this particular aspect of our relationships, please, for every family who is watching this video right now, whatever religious affiliation that you have, whether you are a Catholic Christian, a born-again Christian, Protestant, an Iglesia ni Cristo, a Muslim, no? Hopefully you believe in God. But please, do not forget to pray. Do not forget to pray as a family. And let us once again use the letters of the word pray in order for you to remember very important elements of prayer as a family. In this time of the pandemic, of course, we are being prevented to be in a social gathering. And many of us probably have not attended public mass yet. Hopefully you are not, developing this habit of, oh, anyway, there's online mass. The rest of my life, I will try to spend by just watching an online mass. Hopefully one day, when things are once again allowed and there's no risk for senior citizens and minors, hopefully you could once again visit the church as a family. But while you are in your home, this situation should not prevent you from practicing your faith. Please find time that you could pray as a family. And secondly, please return to the Lord. Not that you are really lost, but when we say return to the Lord, we are constantly reminded of the importance of conversion. And what do we mean by conversion? This is not a one-time, big-time event in the life of a person, but conversion is a constant process that we need to undergo. Conversion means that we need to try our best to constantly change for the better. We are children of God, and sometimes we forget how to become authentic children of God. But when we say yes to the constant process of conversion, to the constant evolution of our being as children of God, it is really returning to the Lord. Because this life is one big journey. This is one big journey to God. And to become better and better is to become closer and closer to our ultimate destination. And what is our ultimate destination? Not death, but actually to be included in God's kingdom. And hopefully, we try our best to journey in holiness as a family. Remember Ohana, nobody gets left behind. Nobody should be left behind. So please, parents, take the lead. Bring your children with you. And as a family, try to develop that very intimate relationship with God. And again, letter A, appreciate the value of praying as a family. If you are a Catholic Christian, remember that you are still encouraged to at least attend the online Mass and attend the Mass together. No? Please, if before you find it very difficult to organize your family to go to your parish church, but this time that technology has made our situation more convenient by having the live streaming of online masses. So please find time to go to Mass together as a family. Have your own altar. Still dressed properly, not in your pajamas. No? And please pay attention while watching an online Mass, because that is still a Mass. Although we do not anymore, or you do not anymore, receive Holy Communion, but we still have the spiritual communion prayer, wherein we are supposed to receive Christ spiritually. And in this situation, within the online celebration of the Holy Mass, please give your full attention. Parents, please be good examples to your children. Please do not do anything that can be very distracting while you are watching an online Mass. Okay? Show your children that the celebration of the Holy Mass is actually the highest form of prayer. And also, please find time to pray together as a family, especially these days when praying is very important, because it sustains us spiritually, it rekindles our hope, it strengthens our faith, so that in the midst of all these challenges, we can still emerge victorious and not easily give up. So once again, please appreciate the value of praying as a family. And of course, to maintain that attitude, always yearn for spiritual nourishment. Hopefully you miss the physical celebration of the Holy Mass. Hopefully you long for that day once again, wherein you would receive Jesus Christ in Holy Communion. Do not lose that longing. do not lose that yearning. Because the more you crave for Jesus Christ in Holy Communion, the more that you will continue to yearn for Him. And that yearning should not disappear. That yearning should stay there, because that yearning would eventually motivate us to try our best to constantly discover the Lord in our lives. And we do that not as individuals, not alone, but rather we do that as a family. We do that as a basic Christian community. Remember this very beautiful quote from St. John Paul II. And this has also been the slogan of the Family Rosary Crusade. And it says here, the family that prays together stays together. The family that maintains faith in God stays together. The family that knows how to practice gratitude stays together. The family that knows how to forgive and ask for forgiveness stays together. The family that loves each other stays together. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, we continue to pray for each other. Continue to pray not only for your family, but the families of your classmates and those people you know. You know, these days, some of these families are probably still grieving because one of their family members was affected or was taken by COVID. And these days, grieving is very difficult. It is stronger than ever. And that is why it is crucial that we should try our best to pray for other people. But remember, that charity begins at home. Praying begins at home. Loving begins at home. I would like to leave you with this question that hopefully you would find time to reflect on. And what is this question? Which aspect of maintaining relationships do I need to improve? Okay. Are you lacking in gratitude? Are you lacking in forgiveness? Are you lacking in love? Or are you lacking in your relationship with God? Let us pray that as we continue to weather the challenges ahead of us, may we realize that we do not journey alone. We are journeying with our family. People who are actually the most important people in our lives. People whom we cannot live without. People who gives meaning to our existence. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, let us continue to pray for one another. Be assured that I am praying for you, and that let us keep one another in our care in whatever way that we express this care. But of course, most importantly, please treasure your family. Good day, and God bless you.